Ah, the difference that 2 years can make. This game's graphics went from good at the start to now untouchable, and that is no accident. Recently, we also got a remake of a day one character, Yang Yang, revealing over 10 improvements, both big and small, that they've made in their 3D models. So how did they go from this to this? Well, starting with a big picture, you'll notice a stark difference in color between the release model and now. Early Wuthering Waves was criticized by fans and mocked by haters because of monotone color palettes across their designs. And what you see in 24 Yang Yang was pretty much the entire roster back then. A lot of black and white across the entire design with one bright highlight color like blue. And the devs made the correct response by turning that feedback into fuel and creating some of the best designs in the genre. How exactly they did that with color is with variation. So rather than just using one blue, they'll use navy blue, royal blue, cyan, a glacial like icy blue, maybe even a little bit of purple, as opposed to just using one shade of blue. And you can see in all of her old ones, these were all pretty much the same kind of blue. So that change added a lot of depth to her design while still keeping it coordinated, and you can still tell that her main color is blue. They've also leaned heavily into the use of gradients to transition between different values and hues, and that's always an easy but very aesthetically appealing thing to do. And to add some spice to the otherwise cool color palette, they've splashed in some red with these jewels across her design as well. Now, if you take a look at her sister, you'll see how much bolder they've gotten into implementing multiple color schemes and really going outside of that one color box. And they've even spiced up the monochromatic parts of the outfit, like even this white section. They found a way to make it interesting by giving it that pearlescent look. And the key to that here in this area is there's this shadow, but then there's also this bounce light right under it, really making them pearls look pearlescent. Next, another big improvement is their textures, which have increased in both resolution and detail. If you take a look at the old ones, you can see, yes, they did try adding in different materials, and they conveyed creases and folds in a very simple way. They were already showing signs of potential, like this crease detail on her skirt is really good, and they even had something nice going on with their tights over here. But apart from that zone, it did feel like the rest of the outfit could have caught up. But catch up they did. So their texture rendering now is visibly more effortful. So small designs are fully fleshed out rather than scribbled on. So for example, things like this is a new model, and then in the old one, they used to just scribble on the text like that. But looking at it now, you can see depth, you can see pretty much every little stitch of the embroidery within these new textures. And they all have an underlying micro texture to convey the material, which gives it that premium look, that premium finish. And they look even better in game because all you see right here is the color textures, but there's several other categories of textures that further enhance the in-game look. And they've improved all of those as well. For example, her hot sister has this beautiful glittery effect emission mapped throughout parts of her outfit, which definitely makes the outfit come alive and draw your attention. She has a glittering effect on her top as well. A slightly more subtle texture detail is that they've moved away from using hard lines in preference of soft shading. You'll see this in things like the elbow joints. So instead of these lines right here, if you look at her sister, it's more soft shaded. And that's all across the entire body, even things like the back. In game, it has some normal mapping to increase the depth, but as you can see in the old models, they would have a little shading, but they would also combine it with some line work. And lines are good if you want to bias it towards the more stylized look or the cartoony look, but over time, they've blended more realism into their art style, which is something that's more commonly explored in various 3D anime games nowadays. Because devs are realizing that the anime style still works even if the bodies and clothing are pushed to have more realistic details. Now, speaking of which, one thing that Wuthering Waves is the first and only 3D anime game at the moment, I believe, is doing is detailing their hands and feet to the point that you can see their veins. And here you can really see the stark contrast between the past and the present. In the past, not much going on in the hand department. They had a simple gradients going to the tips of the fingers, still use line art for their knuckles and their palms. Not much attention to the nails. You've got some very soft texturing there, but it is there. But compare that to now, where they've taken on full soft shading, and there's a nice gradation between the knuckles and the knuckle transitions. You can clearly see where they are. Even here on these upper ones, they really fleshed out the nails designs and added a couple of highlights to them. And every character has a unique vein pattern on their hands and feet. If we go and look over at Sway Sway's feet, and forgive me if I'm completely butchering the names, but you can see how crazy they're starting to go with these veins. I think she has the most visible veins so far in the roster. Girl, that'd be looking like Google Maps now. And while we're here, let's farm some disappointment. No! Another great leap in improvement they've made is with their eye modeling. So you can see that they now correctly partition the upper and lower sides of the top eyelashes, rather than just coloring them all in one color. This ends up looking a little flat. Looks like they've opted for thinner brows now, thicker upper lashes, and in addition to having now the brow shadow, which they don't have in this model, they do this one simple trick I always recommend, which is don't use pure white for the eyeballs. Instead, use a light gray like they do here in the newer model, and this is what makes the lighter highlights and bright colors of the eye pop more. When they're not different enough, the highlights don't really stand out. Speaking of which, they really brought her irises to life with this new palette, and as we've mentioned before, the eyes are mainly blue, but don't be afraid to try multiple colors to create a vibrant look. They use yellow, pink, orange, green, and once again many different shades of blue rather than just using one monochrome blue. And this frosted upper highlight is always a nice touch. Notice how they have this on a separate convex part of the mesh so that it has more depth and it can move independently, and you can even have eye physics. And while we're here, you can see also the increased soft shading on her face, around her eyes, nose, and even around her jaw area to create that warm and soft skin look. And take note of the more precise placement of the neck shadow to assist with partitioning the head versus the neck, clearly defining them even without her line art on. Compare this to the old one where it's harder to see where her face ends and her neck begins. Now, one thing you'll notice about their accessory or small detail design is that they're a lot more willing to dedicate topology towards them. Look at Yang Yang's feather design around her chest, which has been given similar attention to even like the hair. And for her sister, you can even see like these small ribbons fully modeled out and other various small trinkets, but they don't skimp on the topology for these. It's more rare nowadays that you'll just see flat ornaments like this. Some elements of the design are still flat, but this is usually accompanied with some normal mapping, and they're usually for the flat and or form-fitting parts of the outfit design. One brilliant aspect of Yang Yang's design are her feather-like hair ends. These simply look amazing. This was already a thing in her original model, but as you can see, the difference between the past and the present is night and day. In general, their hair has more strands now. They've got better strand shapes and far better texturing. You can see once again the departure from one-tone shadows and one-tone highlights into using a full array of values. The hair highlights are absent here in the Blender model because, as we've covered before, they're now shader based rather than textured on. The feather hair's texturing specifically is very clean. You can see all those individual feather details. Even her sister has her own feather hair, and the transition is even smoother from the normal hair into those golden feathers. And they've got some very delicate curved ends, and I love the shape that they curl into at the end, as well as the differing lengths between these big chunks of strands. And for these, they make sure to dedicate enough resources to make sure they take care of the tip all the way to the end. Pause. Her hair design is super unique, by the way. Even up here at the top, very skilled how they've bunched up her hair here at the bottom, and it gathers up into this ribbon bun, which I don't think I've ever seen before. Like, it ties itself into a knot and then it flows into this long ponytail. They even chop up the individual slits into the feathers. Another nice touch. Now, in terms of anatomy, there's some very small differences, as this was something that they were already strong at since the beginning, but there are some slight facial differences. For example, here in the newer one, the nose is a little more upturned and the chin is straighter rather than going backwards like that. And you can only really notice if you overlay them. Yeah, it looks like they've leaned towards making the nose a little smaller, more curved upwards, and a little cuter. Their ears have recently gotten a big overhaul. So you can see here before they used just radial triangles for the structure of the ear. And the drawn on texture, you can even see like the individual strokes still, instead of this like part being filled out. But of course, they've improved that a lot since then. And let's take a look at the ear now. So the texture has greatly improved, and they've fleshed out the actual anatomy of the ear rather than just joining them at the center into a triangle fan. And one last improvement they've implemented more recently is how they approach form-fitting clothing. This ab and belly detail is something similar that we've seen in Aimet's design, where it's really tight around the belly and you can see her belly button making its own crease. And for this, you do have to unwrap the UV asymmetrically so that you can have different texturing on both sides. As you can see, they put the shadow only on one side. And the detail in this area is quite eye-catching to say the least. They've got that stretching conveyed by the light to dark, as well as the creases. And yeah, it looks great. So that's going to be it for today's breakdown. One reassuring thing about being a Wuthering Waves enjoyer is knowing that someone over there has the hunger to continuously improve this game and its models, bringing us this very beautiful 3D art. And for those of you also making your own, seeing their modelers improve reminds us that we can improve as well. I'll see you in the next video. Until next time, have a good night.